is the ability to laugh at yourself, fully accepting and owning who we are. Just like everything starts with an intention. Is there anything more important than being at peace with who we are and being comfortable in our own skin? I've been reflecting on some of the elements of this that kind of make up that ability to be comfortable in your own skin. Now, what are my credentials on this? Well, I've got a few pieces of paper from a coaching perspective from a number of years ago, but more importantly than that, I believe, is my experience. Given that I spent probably the first half of my life being not very comfortable in my own skin, and the more recent half of my life working on improving and feeling much more comfortable in my own skin. So that's 20 plus years of focus on it, so without giving too much away about my age. But I've come up with 6 elements or 6 keys that will help us determine how comfortable we are in our own skin. So something to reflect upon for yourselves about where you might be at in that regard. Obviously it's a changeable thing, so some days or parts of days you can feel differently than others, but a general gauge that might help you just realise where you're at, or perhaps some areas to work on. I mean, there are always areas to work on, of course. So what are these 6 keys to knowing where we're at in this regard? So number 1, it's fully accepting ourselves. So let's call it self-acceptance. So this is loving ourselves unconditionally, fully accepting and owning who we are. And if there was a saying that went along with that, which I think is a real powerful saying to say to ourselves, it's very simply, this is me and I am okay. This is me and I am okay. And when you say that to yourself, just notice how grounding that feels. And it's maybe important to add, but I think most people get that as well, that with loving and accepting yourself, this is not in an egotistical sense where we need to announce to the world how amazing we are or what we've achieved or all of that. It's not about that. It's just like a real presence. This is me and I am okay. It doesn't need an announcement. It's just like a sense, a feeling that we're projecting. The second one that I came up with was enjoying being alone. So being okay with spending time with yourself, not needing to fill it with noise. So be present with yourself, whether that's meditating or doing some kind of activity that you love to do. That time where you spend with yourself and you enjoy, or going for a walk in nature, actually a perfect example as well, but where you're focused only on you. You are your only focus in that time. So really present with yourself, enjoying being alone. Number 3, and it's my personal favourite because I think it's helped me in so many situations feel better about myself, is the ability to laugh at yourself. Humour, I just think, is so powerful and maybe underestimated in its ability to heal and help bring balance in a situation sometimes. So it's about not taking ourselves too seriously, acknowledging and accepting, our little quirks or our situations where we have an encounter with somebody and we're just maybe not fully present, so words don't flow out as well as we'd like, perhaps don't come in the right order, we feel a bit awkward, those kind of things. But being able to look back and, not beat yourself up over the head about it, but just have a good laugh about it and just recognise that it's just something that happens, it just did, and maybe it's just funny. So just being able to see humour in situations sometimes can really help us just return to self and just feel a whole lot better about who we are. Okay, so number 4, honesty with others. Like, are we fully able to be open and honest with others? Perhaps we're invited to something and it doesn't really fit, or it's not something that really appeals, and you sort of feel, rather than feeling uncomfortable about, or even just going along to it when it's not something when it's something you'd rather not do, but actually being okay with saying, actually, this doesn't feel like something I'd like to do, and being able to be open and honest with the other person and share that in a balanced way. And it's okay to say no sometimes, but equally, not shy away from things when it would serve you to perhaps go and try something new as well. So pay attention to your reasons and motivations for declining something, so it's not just an automatic response, but it's a very conscious response. But you're okay to be honest with yourself and then the other person, if another person's involved. And that really actually ties in with people pleasing. People pleasing is not your friend, it's not anybody's friend, it serves no one, least of all yourself. So we just got to stop doing that, quite simply. Number 5, honour your needs. Now, this is not about not considering the needs of others, because obviously we're looking for balance, but where your needs are not lost within that, or that your needs don't come last. Obviously, it's difficult around family and relationships sometimes, because sometimes we just simply do need to put others first. But as long as there is balance and your needs aren't being neglected in that fully. So seeking a balance, intending that your needs can be met, and so can others as well, but intending that you can find a balance. There is a way for my needs to be met. And I think that's really important. Honouring our needs, definitely not putting us last, but making sure that and intending that our needs are met. Number 6, and perhaps the most challenging, or that could just be for me, is the ability to receive feedback. So we obviously want to be open to allow ourselves to receive feedback, because sometimes it's obviously useful, but it's trying to being conscious of staying detached from the emotion and not taking it personally, so not making it about myself, but is there something that I could benefit from doing, or is there something that I could improve upon based on this feedback? And trying to observe, or not trying, I shouldn't say the word trying, but observing the feelings that come up around that, and being able to listen and stay present, and then make a balanced choice or decision about what to do or not as a result of that. Of course, there may be nothing to change at all on reflection, but it's staying present with ourselves and allowing it. Now, obviously, these, as I mentioned at the beginning, these aren't fixed, these 6, they're probably moving targets all the time. And some days we'll feel a whole lot better about ourselves than others. But I think, generally speaking, over time, with intention, we can easily begin to feel more comfortable in our own skin. It's just like everything starts with an intention, and see what happens. Plus, know that we will be tested. Of course we're going to be tested. There are going to be times when we're challenged and somebody says something that gets to our core. Family members, great at doing that, aren't they? Of course. So we're going to be tested. We are going to have emotions come up that cause us to self-reflect on ourselves and really prompt us to dig deep. But if we can try and sit with those feelings as they come up and allow them and honour them and accept them. Just allow those feelings to, and observe them, of course. And stay and remember to breathe, stay in our heart, and remember we can bring ourselves back to centre, and perhaps that's the time when we can get back to that place of saying, those statements that I said at the beginning, this is me and I am okay. Like, don't underestimate the power of simply just stopping, taking a breath, and saying that to yourself. This is me and I am okay. And say it as many times as you need to say it to bring yourself into the moment. So I hope these things help others as much as they've helped me. I'd love to know your ideas about other aspects that relate to being comfortable in your own skin, or your feelings or thoughts, experiences around this, and how you feel you're doing in that regard. So love you to share your comments. If you like the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this. And thanks for spending time with me today.